Okay, guys, welcome back. We're in Unit 6, Data Analysis and Probability. So today we're going to go into some data. We're stepping away from probability for a day. You'll definitely need a calculator when you're going over this stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at stem and leaf plots. Not sure if all of you guys got to it. It's technically the last unit in Algebra 1, but sometimes the teachers don't get to it if they're running out of days. So what we want to do, it says, what do you know about this given stem and leaf plot? So here's how you read a stem and leaf plot is it gives you a key. So it'll say here, all right, 2, then the bar, then 7. The key tells you that it's 2.7. So you typically have to see a key. If you don't, you might accidentally assume that it's 27. Like somebody might look at this and go, oh, that's 22. Oh, this one's 31 and another 31 and a 32. But we have to read our keys to know what the person drawing it is telling us. So this would be 5.3, this would be 5.4, 4.0, 4.1, and so on. So the stems are on the left side, so the stems are these guys here. The leaves are on the right side. They're typically the leaves are the last digit. So it says how many elements are in the data. So we would go, okay, just how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 16 elements in the data. What does the key mean? So it means that the numbers, we could just, it's kind of an open-ended problem. The numbers are decimals. Just in other words, the key is just something we look at to tell what the number is, but that's a long-winded answer. What's the maximum? Meaning what's the highest number? So that would be this right here. So that would be 5.4. 5.4. And then the minimum, that would be here, that would be 1.0. So stem and leaf plots are a way of organizing large amounts of data. So again, the left side is called the stem. It represents the highest values of the number. It can contain multi-digit numbers. And then the right side is the leaf or leaves. It represents the last digit of all numbers. It can only contain single-digit numbers. So we're going to create a stem and leaf plot. So the first thing I do is I'm going to do a key. So I'm going to say 1 with the bar means or is equal to 17. So let's look for my lowest number. This has to be in numerical order. So that would be 9. So for that, we actually want to put 0 and 9. The next number here is the next lowest. We go to the teens, 12. So 1 and 2 for 12. Next up is 17. And 17 appears 2 times. So 17 and 17 do not do a new stem. The 1 is already there for the tens places. You can repeat leaves, but you would not repeat stems because you're trying to abbreviate or shorten the look of things. Okay, next up, the 20s. We have a 22. We have, next up would be a 24. Next up would be 26. And sometimes I like to cross, you'll notice I'm highlighting them. I also like to cross them off as I'm doing that if I was doing pencil paper, because I wouldn't have a highlighter on me. 29 is next. And then we go to the 30s. So we got 30. So another stem 30. And then finally, the 38 at the end. So there it is. That's your stem and leaf plot. Let's try another one. So this one has triple digits. So what's my lowest number here? It looks like I have a 103. So let's start with my key. So I would put this. That is 103. So my first stem is, let's make that line straighter. My first stem is 10, so 103. Next is 105, so just put 5. Next is 107. Then you go into the 100 teens, so 1, 1, and the next number is this 110. It actually appears twice, so 110 and 110. Next is 114, so 114. After that, we go into the 120s. 121. I'm all over the place tonight. It's getting late. 126. And finally 127. So here we have our 9 numbers listed. So again, reminder, please make sure you're putting your key down. Okay, next we're going to create a double stem and leaf plot for 2 sets of data. So set A could be one person, set B can be another person. And guys, these are all just visuals here. So it's a quick visual to see how like numbers lay out. Like anybody looking at A, if I were to ask you, hey, where's the big chunk of numbers? You can look at this and go, okay, they're around the, high teens to low 20s. That's kind of the middle-ish. Or you have most scores in the 20s. I can use this to look at grades. So a double stem and leaf plot, set A will actually work towards the left, set B to the right. So I look for the lowest number in set A, actually in either of them. We have some in the tens. So this 10 would be, oh, actually they're in numerical order, so that's good. That'll save me some time. So I got 10, 12, 12, 14, and 18. I also have 25, 32, 36, 37, 40, and 45. So now I go to set B, 11, 13, 21, 21, 28, 31, 39, 41, 43, and 47. So that is a double stem and leaf plot. So if you asked somebody for a quick comparison, like, hey, who scored most in the teens, it would heavily favor, you can see A. Okay, next up we're going to do measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode, and range. Remember, mean is also known as the average, and that is where you add all the numbers and then you would divide by how many numbers. Mean, also known as average, usually in the real world we call it average, but it's used a lot in the sports worlds when we're looking at statistics of guys. Points per game, yards per game, stuff like that. Yards per rush. Median is the middle number. Think of median on the road as the middle of the road. It's usually like a concrete barrier. And the middle number, you do have to make sure they're in order. Let's just make a note there. The number's got to be in order. The mode is which number or numbers occur most. If none of them repeat, then you can possibly have no mode, or you can have more than one mode. And then the range is finally highest number and then minus the lowest number. And you, of course, would subtract to figure out what the range is. So if the highest grade on a test was 100, the lowest was a 30, that would give you a range of 70. All right, so mean, median, mode, and range. So the mean, this is where you'll need to figure out a calculator. By the way, there is a, for mean, they often use this triangle to mean, it's a little shortcut for writing mean or average. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to my calculator right now on the side, and I am going to, because I left my packet at school, I am going to add these numbers up. 7 plus 12. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. Okay, so they all add up to 292. Now we need to divide by how many numbers there are. So you're counting those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 292 divided by 13 will be, and we'll go to 1 decimal place. When in doubt, don't go a whole number. You can always, actually I'll go 2 decimal places. 22.46. All right, so that was mean. Median is, we have to, actually I want to choose a different color. Median is, we got to put the numbers in order and then find the middle number. So bear with me here. These are not in numerical order. I like to cross them off as I go through. Hopefully you guys are writing these down as well. Okay, so they're in order. So to find the median, you want the middle. So what you do is you just count off 1 low, 1 high, a low and a high, a low and a high, until you get to the middle. So there's your median, 20. Now, it may come up if you don't have a middle number. If you have 2 middle numbers, remember you're supposed to add them up and divide by 2. Okay, next up is mode. So I look at any that repeat. No numbers repeat, so there's actually no mode. Don't put 0, you literally write no mode. And then the range The range is highest number minus lowest number, so the range is 38. Okay, let's try another example. Let's start off with the mean, average. So we're going to add these up. I'm doing this on the side right now with the calculator. So they all add up to 68. So now I'm counting how many numbers there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Divide by 12. And it would be 5.6 repeating. Okay, next up, median. Median, I have to put them in order and then find the middle number. So I cross off as I go through. I got a 2, 3, and 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9. So I have 12 numbers, so remember to find the median. Cross off one high for one low. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Hold on. Did I miss something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What number did I miss? Of course, this would happen. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5. Oh, I missed this 6. I didn't even cross it off. Unbelievable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, so here we have two middle numbers. So what you have to do is add them up and divide by 2. So your median is 5.5. It's like getting the average of the two middle numbers. It's exactly what it is. All right, next up is the mode. So I'm looking for numbers that repeat. I have 3 appearing twice, 5 appearing twice, 7 appearing twice, and 9 appearing twice. This is a rare case, but we actually have 4 modes. 3, 5, 7, 9. And then finally the range. That will be highest number minus lowest number, so your range is 7. Okay, next up is actually a pretty challenging problem. Tom's test grades for the 4th marking period are 89, 93, 80, and 90. If he only has one more test for the marking period, what would he need to score to get an average of 90? So there's going to be 5 tests total, 4 he took plus the extra one. So you want to set up an equation here. We're thinking all of the numbers added up and divided by 5 have to equal 90. So we don't, by the way, we don't know what this 5th one is, so we're calling it x. So we actually have to solve this equation. So first thing we want to do, it's actually easier than it looks. Don't be intimidated by this. So we're going to add up those 4 numbers. We're combining like terms on the top. So this would be 352 plus x divided by 5. Now we can get rid of the fraction. Multiply both sides by 5, so it'll cancel here. So it's 352 plus, equals 45. All right, so again, they all have to add up and then divide, or add up and then get 90. Oh, I accidentally put 9 back here. That's why it wasn't making sense. It's supposed to be 90, and then that would be 450. Sorry about that. And then subtract 450 minus 352. So your fifth test grade to get an average of 90 is 98. 98%. Okay. Next up, actually pretty easy part here, reviewing circle graphs, or also known as pie charts. They represent parts of the data compared to the whole. They're usually used in surveys. All the pieces of the circle graph should add up to 100%. So keep that in mind. Everything, no matter what, the percentages always add up to 100. Now, we want to review here. When we're trying to figure out a percentage of a number, remember what we're supposed to do is multiply. So if say in A, this is a little warm-up to pie charts, if you want to figure out what's 50% of 20, well, use common sense here. You know, when it says what's 50% of 20, that's saying what's half of 20. It's 10. In other words, if you're having a brain fart, what you would do is you would convert it to decimal form, 0.50, then times 20 in your calculator, and it'll give you 10. So, letter C, what is 20% of 60? You do 0.20 times 60, and that would give you 12. What is 75% of 40? So that's 0.75 times 40, and you would get 30. And then what is 90% of 90? So 0.90 times 90, and that would give you 81. So that's going to be our operations that we're going to be using here. Now, we have to be very careful. We have to carefully read the sentence that goes with it. It's very valuable information. It'll tell you the total number of people, such as here, 200 students were asked how many hours of TV they watched per night. So let's write that real big. Keep in mind, we got 250 people here. The results are displayed in the graph below. It's not telling you the actual amount of people, it's just telling you the percent of that 200. So in letter A, how many students watch more than 2 hours of TV per night? So more than 2 hours would be right here. So what you would want to do is do 0.25 times 200 people, and then that would give you 50 people. Next, how many students watch only 1 hour of TV per night? So 1 hour would be 39%. So you do 0.39 times 200, and that will tell you 78 people. All right, letter C, how many more students watch 0 hours of TV than 2 hours of TV? So the 0 people can be none, so that would be 0.25 times 200. That would be 50 people. And then 2 hours of TV, that would be the 11%. So 0.11 times 200, that will give you 22 people. So to answer the question, how many more, you have to subtract 50 minus 22. And that would give you 28. So 28 more students watch 0 hours of TV than 2 hours of TV. Okay, I'll guide you through this one even though it says you do, or you can pause and test yourself. Now in this one, again, we have to be careful. Up here it says 300 people were asked to name their favorite ice cream flavor, and the results are displayed. So in A, how many students like Rocky Road ice cream the best? So we would take 0.32 times 300, and that would give us 96 students. B, how many students liked chocolate or vanilla? So we're actually going to add them. So the chocolate is 18. The vanilla is 18. So that would be 18 plus 18. That would be 30.36 for 36%. multiply that by 300, and that will give you 108 students. Okay, and then how many more students like strawberry ice cream than vanilla? So let's do strawberry would be 20.22 times 300. And that will give us 66 that like strawberry. Vanilla is 18%, so 0.18 times 300, and that will be 54. So since it's asking how many more students like strawberry, do 66 minus 54, and you get 12. Okay, guys, if you want, you can work ahead at your... Actually, no, I definitely want you to do this. This will be included. This is such a short assignment. You will do this the same day. All right, guys, be good.